What's up, it's iCkEdMeL. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. I've been wanting to do this update with regards to Quawan Charles for several days, but I thought I was getting sick and I'm not really sure what happened, but I guess I'm doing okay now. We'll see how that goes. The videos that I wanted to show you is with regards to the Baldwin Police, the Assistant Chief Police, and then the Chief Police. They stated that they didn't drop the ball, though other people feel that they did. We're going to see a video from the mother that did an exclusive ABC interview, Roxanne, Quawan's mother. We're also going to be taking a look at some commentary with regards to this police organization called the Caution Group. And this news organization as well, I think it was KLFY, they went and also tested themselves because people on the other side are saying that, well, Baldwin Police could have contacted Quawan's cell phone service provider and gotten a ping to his location. If officers called, they should have been able to get that, because Baldwin Police is saying that they didn't have the technology to do a ping, but other people are saying otherwise. Well, all you had to do was call the service provider because it took days to find Quawan. Now, October 30th was when Quawan was reported missing to the Baldwin Police in the St. Mary Parish. He wasn't found until November 3rd when the family went and contacted Parish, and they found Quawan by pinging his cell phone. So this is the Assistant Chief of Police, Samuel Wise. And by the way, if you haven't seen the previous video that I did with regards to Janet, make sure you check that video out. It's the woman that came and picked up Quawan with her son. Interesting video with regards to her history.
Missing persons investigation.
News 10's Britt LaFaso spoke to the Assistant Police Chief about the steps they took to find Charles and their response to criticism of the department.
We did not drop the ball. We did everything within our powers to help this family.
When Quawan Charles' mother called police at 8:04 on October 30th, Baldwin police say they immediately began their search for him.
Started thinking, started talking, started hitting the streets, beating the streets, because that's what I do initially.
After searching for Charles at local events, Baldwin police filed a missing persons report at 10:34 that night into a national database for missing people.
They did follow protocol. They did everything by the book.
Wise says he was on vacation when Charles was reported missing, but came home on November 2nd to help with the investigation. He says Baldwin police officers spoke with people closest to Charles and dug up this surveillance footage to track his last movements.
And my officer stayed in touch with the family the whole weekend. The father told me himself that my officer stayed in touch with him the entire weekend trying to locate his kid, because we do care.
Iberia Parish officials.
So they're saying they didn't drop the ball. This is what the Assistant Chief of Police of Baldwin
say they were not aware of the teen's disappearance until November 3rd. That's when Charles's family contacted the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office. Iberia Parish authorities found Charles's body in Laurelville after pinging his cell phone. The body was found in a field near the home of the family last seen with Charles. Baldwin police are now facing criticism from Charles's family as well as on social media.
Facebook and social media has cost so much within my department. We receive threats every day. We receive emails every day. And some of the guys are wondering, are we going to be okay?
Saturday, protesters marched through the streets to the Baldwin Police Department. Protesters chanted, "No justice, no peace, no racist police." And many protesters said police would have taken Charles's case more seriously if he was white.
So they're saying it was a race thing and that these guys, they chose not to handle it a different way because of that.
This report, we took it so serious. Again, not just because it was a 15-year-old black kid, but because it was a 15-year-old kid.
Wise says color did not play a factor into their handling of.
So I guess they're saying these guys here, this guy must be racist, and we'll see the other guy after, the chief of police.
The case.
Threats, all that, my brothers and sisters, needs to stop. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Baldwin went as far as Baldwin can go with the investigation. The rest of this investigation now belongs to Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office.
So this is KLFY. Now they're speaking with the actual chief of police in a phone interview. Let's check this out.
The criticism comes in the aftermath of 15-year-old Quawan Bobby Charles being reported missing and found dead a full weekend later.
Charles was first reported missing to police Friday, October 30th by his parents, but he was found dead next to a sugarcane field the following Monday by Iberia Parish deputies. News 10's Neil Zarang got in touch with the Baldwin Police Chief to ask him about the Quawan Charles case and the recall effort against him. Neil joins us now in the studio.
Darla, there have been so many questions since we learned of Quawan Charles' suspicious death and that he was reported missing to the Baldwin Police Department Friday night. One has been, where was the chief? And we got that answer and more when we called his phone.
Would you say that you're hard to find?
Harry Smith Jr., that's his name.
I'm not hard to find. I'm a phone call away.
Chief Harry Smith is a Baldwin native and lifelong resident. He started working with the department at age 18 and eventually became the re-elected chief. But recent criticism over the case of missing teen found dead Quawan Charles and accusations of him disappearing from his duties for months at a time have prompted a recall.
I feel it shouldn't be the case, Neil. I've
What did it say? Disappearing for months at a
been
time?
here for right at 30.
Chief, but recent criticism. He started working with the department at age 18 and eventually became the re-elected chief. But recent criticism over the case of missing teen found dead Quawan Charles and accusations of him disappearing from his duties for months at a time have prompted a recall.
I feel it shouldn't be the case, Neil. I've been here for right at 30 years with reserve, part-time, full-time. I have always been around this department. I have to be the one to come out and patrol when there's nobody to.
Smith said a fire in 2018 that gutted the police station and a limited budget have contributed to him working many of the night patrols for his department. In Quawan Charles' case, he said his officers immediately went into action.
My officer, when he initially took the report down, he took the missing person, the report and put it in the NCIC into the computer, and myself and the assistant chief let the officers know to kind of be on the lookout for the kid.
Chief Smith said his officers notified St. Mary Parish.
It's the
Officers
NCIC.
to know the missing person, the report and put it in the NCIC.
Yeah, I heard that they did that too, supposedly, but that still doesn't put out an Amber Alert, and they were claiming that Quawan didn't meet the Amber Alert requirements, according to them.
Into the computer, and myself and the assistant chief let the officers know to kind of be on the lookout for the kid.
Chief Smith said his officers notified St. Mary Parish and tried to call the missing teen's phone all weekend. When I asked if he tried to ping the GPS location on the phone, he said,
Probably would have to get permission from the family, from the parents.
Charles's family.
So he said would probably have to get permission from the family. If the family was looking for him, which they were, I'm sure they wouldn't have had a problem then letting them ping the phone.
We contacted the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office the following Tuesday, and the sheriff said they found Quawan within hours by pinging his cell phone.
Would you know why Iberia Parish was able to get sort of that location of the phone really quickly and y'all were working on it throughout the weekend?
I'm not too sure on that part.
Not too sure.
The mayor of Baldwin did publicly ask Chief Harris to step down. Harris told me he has a deep love for his community and that he plans to stay. Niels Rang.
So this is again KLFY. I guess they're the local news coverage, Channel 10 over there. And this is with regards to them asking why wasn't the cell phone pinged, which is a good question. I mean, it looks bad on that department, the Baldwin Police. I would say if they had the entire weekend, all those days, and didn't turn up anything, and immediately the other, which is Iberia Parish, they find Quawan within hours. That's what I would say. It's a bad look on their department.
4 days after he went missing.
Baldwin police say they did not have the capabilities to ping or locate his phone, yet the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office did. Charles was first reported missing to Baldwin police on Friday, October 30th by his parents. He was found dead next to a sugarcane field the following Monday by Iberia Parish Sheriff's deputies. News 10's Britt LaFaso has been investigating what it takes for law enforcement to ping or locate a cell phone. She joins us in the studio with what she's uncovered. Britt.
When Quawan Charles' parents reported him missing on October 30th, Baldwin police filed a missing person report. When Charles had not been found by November 3rd, his parents went to the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office. Within hours, they had pinged his cell phone and found his body. I dug deeper into why Baldwin police say they do not have the capability to ping a phone, and if that's really true.
This idea that you need Stingray software is wrong. And that they don't know this is disappointing and concerning.
That's the family attorney, Chase Treschel, I think.
That should have been done on October 30th, not November 3rd.
Baldwin Police told us they did not ping Charles's phone because their department does not have that capability. An attorney for Quawan Charles's family says that's unacceptable.
Baldwin PD stated yesterday that they don't have the wherewithal or the technology to ping cell phones. Guess what? You don't need technology to ping cell phones. You do not need a warrant to ping a cell phone. You call the service provider and they ping it for you.
To test this, I called my own service provider.
If I was, per se, a police officer, and I called to request you guys to ping the location of this missing,
Absolutely.
you guys could do that.
Absolutely. There's a whole department.
My service provider told me there's an entire department set up for law enforcement to do just that. This week, News 10 asked Baldwin Police Chief Harry Smith what was done to find Charles in the days after he went missing.
Yeah, my officer, when he initially took the report down, he took the missing person, the report and put it in the NCIC into the computer, and myself and the assistant chief let the officers know to kind of be on the lookout for the kid, to see if they would see him.
They did not ping his cell phone.
Yeah, my officer that was working, he had, called his phone all weekend, was trying to call his phone at the weekend.
Let's be clear. What they did was call Bobby's cell phone. By their own admission, we called the young man, we texted the young man. If that's all they can do, they are only doing what mom was already doing. You think Roxanne hadn't called him and texted him up to that point? So if that's all they can do, then it's supremely inadequate, and this is going to keep happening.
Now, I spoke with other local law enforcement agencies about their abilities to ping cell phones. They told me they just had to call the service provider and request them to ping the phone. They often have the cell phone's location within 15 minutes. I'm Britt Lafaso reporting for 15 minutes. Have the cell phone's location.
Sorry, I don't know what that weird sound and
within 15
disturbances.
Now, I spoke with other local law enforcement agencies about their abilities to ping cell phones. They told me they just had to call the service provider and request them to ping the phone. They often have the cell phone's location within 15 minutes. I'm Britt Lafaso reporting for KLFY News 10.
That's pretty interesting. This is from the National Police Organization. Not even sure what that is. Caution Group, Caution Tape, or something like that.
And if the other sheriff's department could ping his phone
and
narrow it down to where they found
group.
the young man's body, why couldn't that have been done 48 hours sooner?
Baldwin police say they did not have the technology or capability to ping Charles's cell phone, but this former police chief says that's not true.
Especially after a couple of days, who's probably endangered. They all can do phone pings, as that other parish did when they actually found him.
Walters says all Baldwin police would have had to do is contact Charles's service provider, and they would have pinged it for them.
Missing from Friday to Sunday or Monday, I would have thought Saturday morning he probably would have been pinging a phone.
Charles's cell phone was not pinged until 3 days after Baldwin police started their search for him. Iberia Parish Sheriff's deputies pinged his phone Monday after Charles's parents came to them for help. By that time, however, Charles was dead.
Here's the problem. If they didn't find the young man dead in the other county, and he was still missing today, would the department be doing anything different looking for him? Or would they still be, we're keeping an eye out for him?
Walters says smaller police departments like Baldwin often do not have enough funding to specialize training for their officers, which may be why Baldwin police did not know they could ping Charles's cell phone. He says that's not the problem, though.
The problem is when a small department just doesn't know how to handle that, but continues to keep it to themselves. So nothing gets done.
Walters says Baldwin police should have contacted the sheriff's office or state police for help when Charles didn't come home the night that he was reported missing, instead of trying to handle the investigation themselves.
That's one of the shortcomings of having of every town wanting to have their own police department, is if you don't have the proper financing to do it properly.
But I wonder how that comes into play to the whole defund the police conversation. They want less police or less funds, right? Or with the other whole thing too, in some cases, the extreme cases, they want to completely abolish police. Yeah.
You really endanger the community.
That former police chief also runs an organization called the Caution Group. It's a group of former police chiefs and investigators who review critical investigations for smaller police departments across the country. Their goal is to help small departments learn what more they could have done in an investigation. Walter says they reached out to the Baldwin Police to review their investigation into Charles's missing person case, but Baldwin Police have not gotten back to them.
So this is the ABC interview with Quawan's mother, Roxanne. Let's check that out.
18-year-old Quawan Charles speaking out to our own Janae about why she feels police mishandled her son's case. And Janae Norman here with much more. Janae, good morning to you.
Good morning. Baldwin police are defending their response to Quawan's disappearance, saying they did not drop the ball. His family's attorney, though, shared 6 missing persons cases from the last 2 years in the same parish where Quawan disappeared. Police notified local media in every case. None of those cases involved black boys. And Quawan's family believes that's the difference in his case.
Oh, boy.
Good morning. Baldwin police are defending their response to Quawan's disappearance, saying they did not drop the ball. His family's attorney, though, shared 6 missing persons cases from the last 2 years in the same parish where Quawan disappeared. Police notified local media in every case.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So I guess they're talking about St. Mary's Parish?
Cases from the last 2 years in the same parish where Quawan disappeared. Police notified local media in every case. None of those cases involved black boys. And Quawan's family believes that's the difference in his case.
Quawan was a good kid, a loving child. You know, I loved him and he loved me.
This morning, a mother mourning the loss of her son and questioning whether 15-year-old Quawan Charles was murdered.
I cannot sleep at night like I want to. I'm constantly thinking about my son and trying to figure out exactly how he died.
The family says Quawan disappeared and they reported him missing October 30th. Video from that day shows him being picked up by a friend and the friend's mother. His body was found November 3rd in a sugarcane field about 20 miles away, his face barely recognizable. Roxanne Nelson believes police could have saved her son had they acted faster.
They could have done more. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. Had they done what they were supposed to do, my son would be alive today. But I feel because my son was black, it didn't matter to them.
Local police never notified state police to issue an Amber Alert, nor did police report Quawan's disappearance to local media.
Amber Alerts in Louisiana are issued by the state police. The state police cannot issue Amber Alerts if they are not notified of missing children.
Yeah, so state police wasn't contacted.
If any one person had done their job, Quawan would probably be alive today.
The family's attorney points to other cases of missing children when police took faster action and believes this case was different because Quawan was a young black boy.
We don't think they looked at Quawan and saw their own children. We don't think that his life was high enough on the totem pole for them to exhaust all resources.
The family also questions why police didn't ping Quawan's cell phone to find him the day he was reported missing, instead waiting 4 days and then finding his body.
Do you think that if local police had reached out to state police and if they pinged Quawan's phone earlier, sooner, do you think that your son would be home with you today?
Yes, I really believe he would. But because they didn't, he's not with me, and he won't ever be with me again. Ever. He's gone forever because they didn't do their job.
Baldwin police officials say Quawan's disappearance didn't appear to indicate he was in danger.
We didn't see where it felt it met that criteria of an abduction or kidnapping because there was no eyewitnesses or no one to say that he had jumped into a vehicle or if someone kidnapped him or even beat him and took him into that vehicle.
And as his mom fights for answers, she's grieving a son gone too soon.
I love my child, and I'm missing him like crazy.
We're going to take a look at the news clip that has parts of the funeral service. But as far as, you know, had Baldwin police did a ping on the 30th or the day after the 1st, would Quawan be alive today? You know, I don't know because we don't know exactly what happened to him. I mean, I wish the results, the full autopsy and the toxicology and histology. I wish all that stuff could come faster. What happened to him might have happened that day. I don't know how long he was alive for. There's just so many questions. You also have to pay attention to the words that they're using, the lawyer and the media.
Attorney, though, shared 6 missing persons cases from the last 2 years in the same parish where Quawan disappeared.
And later on in this video, I'm going to explain to you a little bit of the population and Baldwin Police and St. Mary's Sheriff's Office and Iberia's Sheriff's Office, which Baldwin is just a small little town and the police station is like 6-7 people there. And they have a sheriff's office, which I agree they should have contacted. So Iberia's sheriff's office was contacted after Baldwin. Baldwin, I believe, made the mistake of not contacting the sheriff's office in St. Mary's Parish. Now, I think that's what caused probably a lot of the issues as far as communication and pinging the phone, though that Baldwin Police Department should have done it themselves. But to compare Baldwin City to the entirety of St. Mary's Parish and say that there's been 6 kids in these areas that went missing and they put out a state advisory, but the one in Baldwin, they never did that. I don't know that it's a St. Mary Parish issue more than it's a Baldwin police issue with their communications. And we're going to get into their history. We're going to get into all that. So definitely comment down below. I couldn't find other missing kids from Baldwin. I mean, there might be, but I couldn't. So they're using St. Mary overall to say that there's been other kids there and they did it, but they didn't do it for Quawan, and it must be because he's black. And I'm thinking, and this is just my thoughts, I just think that Baldwin police was negligent in putting through and passing this on to the state police, which then in turn they would have put out for the media advisory. I'm going to give you one other example with a city, not even a city, a town within St. Mary's Parish. It's all a little kind of confusing, but this is considered a city, Morgan City, but Baldwin, I don't know, town, city. And they were talking in the beginning how these little places, when they have a police department, can be problematic. Well, let me show you a story from Franklin. So this story happened in 2016. This falls out of the 2-year scope that the attorney mentioned, which is probably on purpose. But I'd like to know too, the 6 people, they said missing persons, the 6 missing persons from St. Mary Parish. Why not put the, I mean, I guess it's not related maybe, but it's related to this point that they're making. Why not put those names out? Because I really couldn't find many missing kids, unless you're saying missing person. When you say missing person, then it's implying maybe adults too. Then you can find more names from St. Mary's Parish. But from 2016, there was this black female, okay? She went missing. I believe she was found. They issued, she was 17 years old, black. And the media advisory, okay, the Louisiana State Police issued a level 2 endangered missing child media advisory on behalf of the Franklin Police Department in St. Mary Parish. So this is part of the point that the attorney, and part of the point that I'm kind of making too, that they have to contact the state police, and then the state police issues either an Amber Alert, or at least in the very a level 2 media advisory. That's what I'm saying. And maybe this is an issue more problematic with Baldwin. I mean, if they want to say and believe that Baldwin, I guess, is racist, I guess they can try to do that. But like, we need some other comparative data or other things that have happened with Baldwin. I can't find Baldwin missing kids. It's kind of weird, the wording that they use, because they said St. Mary's Parish. Maybe it's not weird, but they said within the 2 years, and so it takes this out of scope. But then they mentioned black boys, so maybe there wasn't any black boys, but there's black people, black girls, or black adults. So I don't know, just the wording stuff, and maybe in essence, in some things, maybe we're saying the same thing. Maybe, I don't know if they're accusing Baldwin specifically, the police station, what they did was because of his race, or maybe they didn't. I mean, if they say that they didn't take it serious enough, I can line up with some of that. Especially, the question is, why didn't they contact state police? It had been days. Baldwin demographics in Louisiana too is 63% black or African American. Regardless of how you feel on the situation, we covered this previously on a video, but this is the Louisiana State Police website, okay? And it says here some of the criteria with the Amber Alert. Now, I'm not going to go into everything. We kind of covered this previously, but some of the alert criteria is law enforcement confirms a child age 17 or under has been adopted, so it has to be confirmed. Law enforcement believes the circumstances surrounding the abduction indicates that the child is in serious danger or harm. There must be enough descriptive information about the child, abductor, or the suspect's vehicle to believe an immediate broadcast will help the case. So from what we know, we didn't have that to meet the criteria. And here's the important things, and this is the part that the attorney is saying, okay? Because there's levels to this stuff. I know some people just think it's just you tell them and that's it. They put out an alert and it goes out broadcast. But the attorney, what they're pointing out here too, if you scroll down more, I'll put the website in the description if you want to read it for yourself. But here's the important part, okay? What if the case does not meet the criteria? If the current case does not meet Louisiana's criteria, there's a level 2 action plan called an endangered/missing child advisory. Louisiana State Police can take the available information from the requesting law enforcement agency and forward that information to all media statewide from the agency's current statewide media contact list. The requesting law enforcement agency and its telephone number will be listed as the contact for the public. A level 2 endangered/missing child advisory may be upgraded at a later time. And so this is what I think everybody is saying, kind of, that it should have been at the very least this, and they could have put out a media advisory. And that's how, when you see all those posts go out on social media from the media, and like they put the picture and the information, the description of the child. So definitely Baldwin Police should have at least passed that information on. They would have even maybe covered themselves, and it would have helped find Quawan even faster. That's not to say that because of that he would have been alive today, because we just don't know. There could have been more evidence also. Let's say he was dead that day, Friday. There could have been more evidence. There could have been less things that would have happened to his body. When your body's out there for days on end. Maybe if this was malicious, it would have given people less time to hide things or move things or whatever. So, it is crucial to the case, regardless of what you think about it. And this is something definitely that Baldwin Police should probably change. And if there's something that we don't know as the public, maybe we need to know. Maybe we need to be educated on what else needs to be done to get this thing going. And as far as I could tell, I was browsing. As far as I could tell, I haven't seen kids from that city missing. I don't know if that city would be called Baldwin, or they would just put it under another name, like a parish. But I didn't see it.
Hey, Mark, they're remembering Bobby as a boy who loved to fish and spend time with his family. More than 100 people sat socially distanced in the West St. Mary's Civic Center to celebrate the teen's life.
Quawan, in his death, is already bringing people together.
Through heartfelt speeches and tears, a celebration of life was held at the West St. Mary's Civic Center to honor Bobby. Friends and family say he was a special person with a big smile and a friend to anyone he met.
It's his life and death. It's the people he'll touch from this point going forward. I'm one of them. I wouldn't be here today if Quawan hadn't reached from the grave and brought me into this situation. And I'm not the first one, and I won't be the last.
Is it normal for attorneys to speak at these things? I'm not, just kind of wondering.
Last.
On November 3rd, Quawan's body was found in a Laurelville sugarcane field by the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department. The family's attorney, Chase Trichelle, vows he will find answers into the teenager's death.
Now, will not.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Not sleep until we get justice for Quawan. I will not stop. I will not relent. I will not quit until we know what happened.
Quawan leaves behind a grieving mother who shares one last message for her son, which was read by a family member.
I'm missing you, but I'll wait for the day when I'll see you again. Quawan, I will love you for all eternity, Mom.
In another letter read by a relative, a heartbroken father shares the memories he will cherish with his 15-year-old son.
He wants us to remember thoughts of him fishing, spending time with his cousins. He'd want us to remember that he loved us. Goodbye, my son. You will live in our hearts forever.
A protest to demand justice for Quawan is planned for November 28th outside the governor's mansion in Baton Rouge.
So I want to kind of briefly talk with you guys and maybe show you a little bit of St. Mary's Parish and the Iberia Parish and some of the population and a little bit of the history with Baldwin, the Baldwin Police Department. Baldwin Police Department, I do believe they should have contacted their St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office because they just have more resources and they probably would have got things done more efficiently. Baldwin is a really small town and city. From what I saw here, 2,900 population. According to this website, 6 active officers in that small little city. Now, Laurelville has an even smaller population, and this is in the Iberia Parish, but they're pretty close to Iberia Sheriff's Office. So Iberia Sheriff's Office, first of all, Iberia, let's get to the populations first, sorry. So St. Mary's Parish has around 51,000 people. Iberia Parish has around 70,000 people. That's from 2019. So Iberia Parish is bigger. Baldwin Police Department, 2,900 population. Baldwin is a small city within St. Mary's. And then Laurelville, 869 people population. This is the St. Mary's Parish Sheriff's Office. I couldn't find how many police officers they have active. I'm assuming it's more than the small little department that's in Baldwin. But as far as Iberia, from what I could find here, 220 sworn officers that work in the sheriff's office that are, I guess, are active over there. Now, to give you a little view, this is St. Mary's Parish. I was actually born in Louisiana, in New Orleans. That's like over here to the right somewhere. Where we're at, I don't even know Louisiana. I left really early and I went to New York. Where? Oh, way too far. Oh yeah, don't tell anybody I just did that. Yeah, New Orleans. But this is St. Mary's Parish, and right here is Baldwin. Okay, and this is Iberia. Let me type in Iberia for you guys. Iberia Parish, okay, which is just right next door. And Laurelville, the town where Quawan was found, is right here. Small population. All right. So, I mean, the biggest factor in this whole case was making a call, pinging the cell phone, and finding where he was at. Also, I just wanted to show you really quickly so you can see it on the map, Laurelville, which is a small little town here, and Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office is right here. You know, so they definitely have the resources. Don't have good ratings, but what police station does. But they definitely have the resources, and all they had to do was just make the call. It was that simple. I mean, I can understand why people may be, or especially the families, frustrated with that. Baldwin Police, let's see where their office, how far it is. All that Parish Sheriff's Office, Mary Parish Sheriff's Office. So they are, where are they at from Baldwin? Oh, they're not far. Oh, okay. I mean, not that far. I don't know how far that is in distance. Honestly, the distance really isn't the problem either. It's the whole issuing a call to get the phone pinged. Now, the history with Baldwin Police, there was this interesting article from 2016 by The Advocate, which, by the way, I've never heard of The Advocate until this case, and I think they do a pretty good job of putting information together. It's a good website. So that's Police Chief Harry Smith. He talks about the financial problems that the department has. This brings into the bigger question, too, because in 2020, there was a lot of talk with regards to defunding police and in some cases abolishing them. And is that the answer? So this is from 2016. Last week, all 5 patrol cars sat parked at the Baldwin Police Station, each with half a tank of gas or less, which is kind of crazy to think that to not even have enough for gas. The gas cars are maxed out at the local service stations, have reached their limit, extending credit to the police department, police chief said. When officers patrol, they do so on foot, Smith said, and only a few complaint calls they get each day and the rare emergency now justify starting up a unit and putting it into drive. Maybe that's how these small towns work. You know, I don't know, small towns, big rural areas. I inherited this mess, he said. I'm doing the best I can. Lord have mercy. Smith said the budget runs around $500,000 each year, which the town's 5 aldermen have approved. But the reality is that what's talked about and approved in budget hearings and town meetings doesn't actually pay the bills. I got a paper full of numbers on it, but I don't have any money, said Smith, who claimed that when a patrol unit needs maintenance, he breaks out the wrenches and goes to work. So he fixes the stuff himself. The department has 7 full-time officers and 20 reserve. So the other article said 6. This one says from 2016, 7. Maybe it's less now. Who knows, right? And about 20 reserve officers who work part-time when needed and when the budget allows, he said. Mayor Donna Lanson, who, like Smith, was sworn into office in January 2015, acknowledged last week that Baldwin has money problems. We are cash-strapped. There's no doubt about that. Located on the west side of St. Mary Parish, Baldwin is one of the many Louisiana little towns and villages struggling to provide officers with gear and training, said Jim Kraft, for the Louisiana Commission of Law Enforcement. The smaller agencies don't have money to do any training or buy equipment. If they can't afford to send their people to training, they can't afford to be without them. There's nobody to take their place. According to the 2010 census for Baldwin, had 2,400 residents, a few hundred less than 2000. Then in 2000 census takers also noted that the town is getting older, with residents 65 and older making up 16.2% of the population compared to 8.8 in 2000. Smith said the loss of residents combined with the downturn in oil and gas sector, which employs the bulk of workers in the central South Louisiana, has affected the town's income. Smith also acknowledged the police department has its own problems over the years, ranging from lower sales tax revenue to theft. According to an investigation after a state audit, a clerk in the mayor's office allegedly stole $63,000. Corruption. Over the course of 1 year, from mid-2014 to 2015. Another audit from the same period, the most recent state audit for the town, shows smaller but more numerous problems also have contributed to shortages of money. One of the findings was that Baldwin Police overpaid some workers because of a 3-hour minimum charged by employees after a normal 8-hour day, which was an unwritten practice and not a policy implemented by the Board of Aldermen. Smith said the town gets help from patrolling the town and in other police matters from the sheriff's office. So yeah, I agree. They should have contacted that day, or at least on Saturday, because this spanned over several days. At least by Saturday, should have contacted the sheriff's office in their parish. I guess that's considered county or whatever in Louisiana. Smith said, the chief also noted he and the Mayor Lanson entered the office only 18 months ago. Didn't know what she was getting into, Smith said. Neither did I. So it seems kind of like a mess out there. And you guys, it's the same guy too, the assistant chief police. You guys let me know down below what you think about this whole situation. So I wanted to show you guys also what the mayor of Baldwin had to say. I've never seen this video yet. Let's take a look at this. This is from KLFY.
Baldwin is calling on the police chief to do better after Quawan Charles' body was found last week. News 10's Brett Lofaso spoke with the mayor about why he's asking the chief of police to either step up or step down.
The mayor of Baldwin says that the city's police chief has a long history of disappearing from his office and his duties for months at a time.
That was the rumors. And if that's the case, that's crazy. And if they knew about it and they know about it, why is it just being let go to happen if that's the case?
He says whenever a 15-year-old Baldwin teen's body was discovered last week, the chief was nowhere to be found.
I'm being conservative probably 9 months now. I have not physically laid eyes on him, much less had a conversation with him.
Mayor Prejean says it's been a problem for years.
You know, it's quite evident. I mean, it's not like it's something that's you have to look for to find out what's going on. I mean, it's just a matter of watching the door. You know, he's just not there.
When 15-year-old Quawan Charles was found dead, his family said law enforcement did not do enough.
Things are just building up in this last incident where the missing child ended up being found dead in Iberia Parish. It just brought it up to where it's it's bubbling over now.
Mayor Prejean says he does not have the power to fire Chief Smith. The only way to remove him from office would be if the chief resigned himself.
Something has to be done. We can't continue to go this way. It's just the town deserves better. And the town's paying for it, to be quite frank with you.
He says although Chief Smith is not fulfilling his duties, he's still paid his full salary as well as $500 in state subsidies every month.
You know, drawing a salary and not providing any service, you know, I think that's something that's wrong. He's drawing a full salary from the public and he's not providing anything in return. I think that's wrong.
The mayor says change is needed.
It's kind of a neither or. Either you come in and do your job or you get out the way. And I think the town deserves that.
Now, I did reach out to the police chief Thursday, but he has not returned any of my calls. I also went to the police department, but he was
This was before the other videos that I showed you in the beginning.
not there, and no one could tell me his whereabouts.
Maybe the police chief was MIA again and they couldn't find him. A couple of quick thoughts with regards to the Amber Alert, the advisory alert, and how it was handled. You know, I would say that I believe that in any case, Baldwin Police, with the amount of officers that they have and resources, which clearly is very little, I would say that anytime they get a missing child, they should at least report it to the sheriff's office and let them use their resources and provide help from there. And plus, maybe it takes a little bit of liability off of them, even though, you know, they need to search, but they just don't have the resources. And at least, because kids... and when I say kids, I mean teenagers go missing all the time everywhere, even here in Florida. And you don't get the actual alert to your phone. But the immediate advisory, which the attorney was talking about, that's a pretty important level to get those notifications out there. I think I covered that on the previous video where they contact all the local news media and then they push out, you know, the pictures and the stuff you see on Facebook and on Twitter. It gets the picture out there and lets people know that there's a missing child. So that's a big deal. As far as would that have saved his life, I don't know. I can't say that because we don't know what happened. You know, he did go willingly. He did know these people. And we covered that a little bit in the previous video too. Not to say that this is his fault or anything like that, but we just have to wait for the autopsy results. Well, that's all I have for now. I wanted to give you guys as many updates as I can with regards to this story, all combined in one. I don't believe unless there's a significant news detail that comes out within this story, I don't think we'll be talking about it until the autopsy results come back. Definitely check out that Janet video I did because I thought that was really interesting in telling her history. You can't ignore that stuff, in my opinion. They are monitoring the family. We're going to see what comes of all this. And happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'm going to be working probably on another video tonight to maybe get out for either today or tomorrow. Thanksgiving I'm spending with family. Who knows, maybe we'll do a late night stream tomorrow. Maybe if people want to hang out after dinner and everybody's full and just laid back with food and drinks and stuff, maybe we can hang out and just have fun or talk about different things. Thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate you guys. I am feeling almost 100% today. I don't know what that was that I was starting to get. It seems like my body fought it off. I've been taking vitamins for a prolonged period of time. Zinc, vitamin D, all these different things. C, cod liver fish oil or codfish, whatever all that stuff's called. Been taking all that stuff. So maybe that helped me out. I don't know. But thank you guys for all the support. Take care of yourselves and peace.